The sky was dark. The stars above looked like cold white eyes. A small ship, broken and burning, crashed into the surface of a lonely alien moon. The crash made no sound in the thin air. Only silence and smoke. Inside the wreck, a man moved slowly. His name was Jake Harrell. He was a space explorer from Earth. His mission was simple: collect samples, study the area, and return home. But now the mission was over. The ship was destroyed. His radio was dead. Oxygen was low. Jake looked around. The moon was strange. Purple. Fog moved across the ground. Tall crystal-like trees glowed faint blue. The land felt alive. He checked his scanner. No signs of life, it said. Jake whispered to himself. Great, I'm alone. He walked forward, hoping to find shelter. Every breath was harder than the last. His oxygen tank beeped slowly, 10% remaining. Then, something moved in the fog. Jake stopped. Who's there? He shouted. No answer. From the mist, a figure appeared. It was tall and thin. Humanoid, but not human. Skin pale like moonlight. Eyes large, glowing softly. It was a girl. An alien girl. She wore no armor, no weapon. Just a strange silver cloth around her body. Her long fingers glowed at the tips. Her hair flowed like smoke. Jake stepped back. What are you? He whispered. The girl tilted her head. She looked curious, but not afraid. Then without warning, she walked toward him, slowly, gently. Jake raised his hand. Stop, I don't want to hurt you. But she kept walking. Then she did something no one expected. She reached out, leaned forward, and licked his face. A warm, glowing tongue touched his skin. It felt like static, like heat and light all at once. His eyes widened. His vision blurred. The world spun. The ground moved under his feet. Then blackness. Jake woke up hours later. He was lying on a soft bed of moss inside a cave. Strange glowing flowers grew on the walls. His head hurt. His heart pounded. He touched his face. It was warm. He looked at his hands and froze. There were symbols on his skin. Glowing softly, alien writing, lines and circles like a map. Or a message. What did she do to me? He whispered. He stood up slowly. Then he remembered the girl. The lick, the light. Suddenly, flashes filled his mind. Not his memories, hers. He saw a beautiful city of crystal towers. He felt pain, her pain. He saw her people running from something. Fire, explosions. Humans in armor. Then a whisper in his head. You carry the mark now, Jake gasped. She's inside my head. His heart raced. He stepped out of the cave. The moonlight hit his face. The symbols glowed brighter. Then he saw her again. The alien girl. She stood on a rock watching the sky. Jake walked toward her slowly. You marked me, he said. Why? She turned. Her glowing eyes looked into his. I don't understand you, Jake said. But I saw your memories. I felt them. She said nothing. Jake stepped closer. Your people, they were attacked. By humans? Still, she said nothing. But her face showed sadness. Deep, old sadness. Jake took a breath. Are you the last one? The girl looked up. Then for the first time she spoke. Not with words but through emotion. Jake felt it, deep inside. A mix of hope and fear. He understood. She had saved him. Not because he was special, but because he was the last chance. Jake whispered. You didn't hurt me. You gave me something. He looked at the sky. A ship passed far above, blinking red. Was it human? Was it coming? He turned back. The girl was gone, only her footprints. In the glowing grass remained. Jake looked down at his hands again. The symbols pulsed softly like a heartbeat. It started with a taste of salt. Jake opened his eyes, choking. His mouth was dry, but his tongue tasted like he had just swallowed the ocean. There was no water around him, only rocks, glowing plants, and the silent alien moon. But the taste felt real. He sat up quickly. His skin still glowed with the strange alien markings. They pulsed, slow and soft, like a sleeping heart. Something had changed in his body, and now maybe in his mind too. Jake touched his chest. He felt nothing, but suddenly saw another world in front of his eyes. Not a dream, not a memory. Something else. He stood on a cliff made of purple glass. Beneath him, a wide alien ocean moved without sound. Strange creatures swam below, bright, fast, glowing. He looked at his hands. They were not his hands, thin fingers. Pale skin. He was not Jake anymore, he was her. Suddenly, the vision broke. Jake gasped for breath, falling to his knees. What the hell was that? He whispered. The cave was empty. The alien girl was gone. But her memory, her world was inside him now. He tried to stand, but the glowing marks on his arm flared up. This time, the vision came faster, a bright room. Alien children laughing, spinning lights dancing around them. A warning alarm. Shadows rushing through glass walls, screaming, running. Fire. Then a figure in heavy armor, a human soldier with a gun. Her people screaming. She hides. She survives. Jake is ripped back into his body. He falls again, breathing hard. Now he understands. Something horrible. Humans destroyed her world. He sits in silence. His thoughts race. She saved me. Even after what we did to her people. He looks at the sky again. That blinking red light. The human ship, it's still there. Are they here to rescue him? Or are they here to hunt her down? Suddenly, Jake hears a sound behind him. Footsteps. Slow. Soft. Careful. He turns. She's back. The alien girl. Her face is calm, but her eyes are full of questions. Jake stands. He doesn't speak. Instead, he slowly walks toward her. Then he does something strange. He reaches out and touches her hand. No words, but a connection. More visions come, but now they are shared. Narration-style flash visions. Quick. Voiceover. A dying city. A voice calling out for peace. A girl running through smoke. A final order. Find someone who can carry the memory. Save what's left, even if it's just one mind, one soul. One human. Jake pulls his hand back. The vision fades. He looks into her glowing eyes. You're not just trying to survive, he says softly. You're trying to remember. You don't want your people to be forgotten. The alien girl blinks. For the first time, Jake hears a voice faint inside his mind. Now, you begin to see. Closing hook scene. Jake turns to leave the cave with her. As they step into the night, his wrist scanner lights up a signal. Human frequency. They found him. He looks at the alien girl. Her face shows one clear emotion. Now fear. Opening scene. Not all beeps are friendly. Beep, beep, beep. A soft, repeating sound echoed through the rocks. Jake Harrow opened his eyes. The alien moon was still dark. The fog was thicker now, curling around the trees like fingers. The beeping continued. It wasn't his oxygen alarm this time. It was his wrist scanner. He sat up quickly. A glowing icon flashed on the screen. Incoming signal, human origin. Distress frequency. Jake froze. A human signal. After days of silence, after alien visions and strange marks on his skin. Now his own kind was calling. But why now? And more importantly, what would they do if they found him with her? Scene 2. Her eyes changed. The alien girl, Sela, stood near the edge of the cave. She was still, silent, but her eyes told everything. When she heard the beep, her glow dimmed. She stepped back just one step, but Jake noticed. She wasn't curious anymore. She was afraid. Jake looked at her. You know what that is? Don't you? Sela didn't answer with words. Instead, she touched Jake's hand. Quick and gentle. Another flash. A metal ship above an alien city. humans dropping from the sky, weapons in their hands. A voice shouting orders. Tag all survivors. Bring them in, alive if possible. Then, cages, crying, Sela hiding under a floor. Her mother taken. Jake pulled his hand away. His stomach turned. They came as saviors, he whispered, but they were hunters. Scene 3. A choice must be made. Jake walked out of the cave. He stared at the scanner again. The signal grew stronger. Signal strength, 70%. Approximate landing zone, 5 kilometers east. They were close. He looked at the dark sky, then at Sela. Her hands glowed softly again, but not with power. With warning, you want me to run, Jake said quietly. Sela gave a small nod. Jake looked back at the scanner. He could press one button. Just one, and his location would be sent. They would come. They would take him home. Food, water, safety, Earth. But what about her? Scene 4. The heartbeat between beeps. The signal beeped again. But now, Jake noticed something strange. Between each digital beep was something else. A pulse, like a second sound. Low, organic. He turned to Sela. Do you hear that? 2? She stepped closer. Jake held up the scanner. It beeped again. But this time, Sela flinched. The sound wasn't just a signal. It was a tracking call. A hunter's ping. Not rescue. Jake said slowly. They're searching for you. His hand shook. He shut off the scanner. The sound stopped. The world fell silent again. Scene 5. What's coming from the sky? Sela pointed to the sky. A soft red line cut across the stars like a laser scanning the land. It was too far to see clearly, but Jake knew. A ship had entered low orbit. She pulled his hand. They had to go. Jake followed without hesitation now. No scanner, no signal, no backup. Just her. And the strange connection between them. Closing hook scene. The human voice, as they disappeared into the forest of glowing trees. A distant sound echoed in the night. A voice, cold and metallic, played. Through the scanner Jake left behind. Target marked. Biosignal locked. Lifeform registered. Initiating retrieval team. The screen flashed again. Primary target, host plus alien tagged. They weren't coming to rescue Jake. They were coming to take him. Opening scene. The memory that wasn't his. Jake stood in front of a glowing alien pool. The water didn't reflect his face. Instead, he saw hers. Sela. Eyes closed. Skin glowing softly. Hands touching the water like it was something sacred. The cave around them was silent. Only the pool whispered, tiny ripples glowing in circles. Jake stepped closer. Why did you bring me here? He asked. Sela didn't speak. She touched the water again. Then suddenly, Jake's chest burned right over the alien mark. The world around him melted. Scene 2. Inside her soul. Jake opened his eyes and found himself standing in a place he had never seen but felt like he belonged. The sky above was green. Giant silver towers stood tall. Children ran between floating lights. Music hummed in the air. It was beautiful. Then, a scream. The sky cracked open. Human ships fell like fire. Soldiers with helmets and guns marched in. Sela, young, afraid, hid behind a wall. Jake could feel her fear. Every heartbeat. Every breath. Every tear. Then he saw himself, not his real self but a human soldier. Gun raised, voice shouting. Secure the female, mark her. The scene froze. Jake screamed. Stop, that's not me. But it was too late. Sela's memory had already spoken. Scene 3. The lick was a message. The vision ended. Jake fell backward onto the cave floor, shaking. Sela knelt beside him, her glowing fingers touching his forehead gently. No, Jake said. You thought I was like them. Sela tilted her head. No, he corrected himself. You feared I was like them, but you still saved me. Sela finally spoke, not with sound, but inside his mind. One memory. That's all I can give, through touch, through taste. That is our way. Jake finally understood. The lick was not random. It was their deepest form of connection. Not love, not attack, but a gift. She gave him a piece of her soul. Scene 4. The hidden meaning. Jake sat still. I saw your city, he said. I saw what we did. Sela looked down. Jake whispered, is that why you're the last one? Silence. Then Sela stood. She placed her hand on a large stone at the back of the cave. It opened. Behind it, a chamber, full of glowing stones. Each stone had marks like the ones on Jake's skin. Jake gasped. Are these? Sela nodded slowly. Memories, she said silently, of the lost. Jake walked among them, running his fingers across the stones. Visions flickered. Each stone carried a soul, a life, a story. Your people didn't die, he said. They became memory. Sela looked at him. Her eyes shimmered. You want me to carry them, Jake said. That's why you chose me. Scene 5. A choice with no return. Jake stepped back. He looked down at his glowing hands. This is bigger than survival, he said. This is legacy. But just then a loud noise shook the cave. A voice came from outside. This is Earth Command Unit 7. Jake Harrow, identify your position. You have 30 seconds to respond. Sela's eyes widened. The humans had arrived. Jake looked toward the voice. Then back at the glowing stones. He knew if he stepped outside, he might live, but if he stayed, he would carry the weight of a forgotten race. He took a deep breath. Then he whispered to Sela, let me carry them. Sela reached out and gently touched his forehead. The mark on his skin flared like fire. Dozens of memories rushed into him one after another, so fast they felt like lightning. He screamed. But he didn't pull away. When it was done, Jake collapsed, breathing hard. But now, his eyes glowed. To that final hook. The soldier's footstep outside the cave. A human soldier stepped closer, helmet on, rifle ready. He whispered into his cum, I found the target. But he's not alone. Inside the cave, Jake opened his eyes. He wasn't just a man anymore. He was a memory carrier. In Earth might not like what he had become. Opening scene. When the gun said nothing, the first shot never came. The soldier stood at the cave's mouth, finger on the trigger, eyes locked on Jake Harrow. But something in his eyes changed when he saw Jake's face, glowing alien marks pulsing like soft fire. The soldier whispered into his cum, voice tight. Subject found. He's different, possibly compromised. Jake didn't move. Sela stood beside him, still as stone. One wrong move, and they'd both die. But instead of firing, the soldier did something strange. He stepped back. Then he threw something inside. Tracker. Tiny, red, blinking. Jake dove forward, grabbed it and threw it into the glowing pool. Too late. They knew. Scene 2. The ground begins to pulse far above. In orbit, a command ship received the ping. Inside, cold voices spoke. Tag confirmed. Send extraction drones. Orders, live specimen capture. Use force if needed. Back on the surface, the ground began to hum. Jake felt it first through his boots. A low vibration, like thunder beneath the soil. Sela's eyes widened. She grabbed his wrist. Run. Scene 3. The forest doesn't forget. They ran through the alien forest. The trees glowed dimly, casting long shadows. Jake's breath was heavy. The alien memories still burned in his mind, making it hard to think straight. Where are we going? He asked, dodging sharp vines. Sela didn't speak. She just ran behind them. A loud whirring filled the air. Drones, 3 of them. Fast, cold, hunting. One flew above the trees. 2 came low, scanning the ground with red light. Jake turned and fired his old flare gun. Bang. A burst of light hit one drone. It spun and crashed into a tree. The others locked in. Target aggression detected. Engaging. Scene 4. Hunted. Like her people were suddenly. Jake felt it. Not fear, fury. He saw it in Sela's face too. This was the same way her people had been hunted, tagged, chased, cornered like animals. Now it was his turn. He grabbed a branch, swung it into a low-flying drone. Sparks flew. Sela raised her hand, her fingers pulsed, and one drone paused. Just for a second. Jake smashed it. Nice trick. He panted, but she looked weak. Her power was fading. The drones weren't done. Scene 5. The hidden door. They reached a clearing. A large rock stood in the center, covered in moss and glowing symbols. Sela placed her palm on it. The rock opened. Like a door. Inside, an old tunnel, carved from alien crystal. Dim, ancient. Jake didn't hesitate. They ran inside. The door closed behind them. Silence. Then boom. A drone fired at the stone wall, but it held strong. Scene 6. One signal left. Jake collapsed inside the tunnel, gasping. Sela knelt beside him. Her hand trembled. Jake looked at her. They'll keep coming. Sela nodded. Jake opened his wrist scanner again. One option blinked. Emergency signal. Earth command override. If he pressed it, they might stop. Or they might wipe the whole area. He hovered his finger over it. Then he looked at her. The girl who gave him a world inside his mind. He shut the scanner. No, we don't run anymore. Not like this. Closing hook. A soldier's doubt far above. The soldier who first saw Jake stood in silence, watching the cave on a screen. Another voice said, authorization granted. Eliminate alien. Capture human. The soldier paused. Then replied, negative. The human is not fully ours anymore. He shut off the screen. Opening scene. Light that doesn't come from the sun. There was no sun on this part of the moon. Just cold air. And the soft blue glow of Sela's skin. She walked slower now. Each step left a trail of fading light behind her. Like a falling star. Jake noticed it. Are you okay? She nodded once. But it wasn't real. Her glow was dimmer than before. Her fingers shook when she touched the tunnel walls. He reached out and grabbed her arm gently. You're dying, aren't you? She didn't answer with words. She didn't have to. Scene 2. A language written in pain. Jake helped her sit near a crystal wall. She placed her hand against it, and a memory appeared, glowing like a movie inside the stone. Jake saw 2 aliens sitting close. One was Sela. The other was older, a male, maybe her father. He was fading, glowing less and less. And then, his light moved into her, a sacrifice. Sela turned to Jake and touched his chest. Her meaning was clear. Now it's my turn. Jake stepped back. No way. You gave me your memories. That's enough. Sela looked at him softly. It was never enough. Scene 3. The human's wound. Jake's side still burned from the last drone blast. He had been hiding it, but blood was soaking his suit. Sela noticed. She knelt beside him. Her fingers glowed again, barely. She pressed her palm over the wound. A warm, humming feeling spread through him. His pain faded, but Sela's glow flickered, then dropped like a migo. Flame in the wind. She fell forward. Jake caught her. You're killing yourself. Sela blinked slowly. No, I'm keeping you alive. You carry all that's left of us. Scene 4. Memory and love are not so different. Jake sat with her in his lap. The tunnel around them was quiet. No drones. No gunfire. Just time. He remembered Earth, his apartment. Cold food, empty rooms. His last mission briefing where they called aliens test material. Then he looked at Sela. This alien girl who had no reason to trust him, and yet she gave him everything. Why? Emmy? He whispered. A weak voice inside his mind answered, because you listened. Scene 5. A choice that cannot be undone. Sela reached up. Her fingers glowed one last time. She touched Jake's forehead, where the mark had faded. In that moment, a wave of visions hit him. A sky full of stars they never got to visit. A song sung by a dying people. A small child hiding under rubble. Sela's first fear. Her last hope. The memory entered him fully. Jake screamed, and when the light faded, Sela's hand fell. Still. Scene 6. The new glow. For a long time Jake didn't move. Then his skin began to glow again, but different now. Not just alien symbols, but two sets of light. One inside him, and one that used to be hers. She had passed herself into him. Jake looked at her body, now still and silent. Then he stood. Stronger. Eyes glowing. Something inside him had changed forever. Closing hook. Not alone. Suddenly, a voice echoed through the tunnel. Jake Harrow, this is your final warning. Surrender now. Jake turned toward the sound, but he didn't feel fear. Not anymore. He looked down at Sela, then up into the darkness ahead. He whispered, "You wanted to erase her, but now she lives. In me. You'll have to go through both of us." His footsteps echoed as he walked toward the soldiers, but something was different. Every step left behind a glowing trail. The soldier aimed his weapon. His boots echoed in the crystal tunnel. Jake Harrow stood alone in the darkness, skin glowing with alien marks, and something new. A second light, warmer, brighter. Not just Sela's memory. Her presence. She was gone. Yes, but not truly. She was inside him now. In his breath, in his heartbeat, in his soul. Jake raised his hands slowly. "I'm not a threat," he said. The soldier didn't lower his weapon. Behind him, more boots arrived. A full squad, suits, helmets, guns. "Is the alien secured?" One voice asked. Jake didn't answer. Another soldier looked at his glowing arms. "He's infected," they said. "We need to isolate him, strip the data, burn the rest." Scene 2. The voice that wasn't his. Jake didn't. He flinched. His voice changed slightly. Still his, but deeper. Echoed. "You didn't come for rescue. You came for control." The soldiers paused. Jake stepped forward, slowly. Her name was Sela. She wasn't an object. She wasn't a sample. She was alive. One soldier barked, "This is not your choice, Harrow." Jake smiled faintly. "You're right," he said. "It's hers." He raised his hand and the symbols on his skin flared like stars. The light wasn't just light anymore. It was a signal. Scene 3. The last broadcast miles above the moon. In the Earth command ship, every screen suddenly turned blue. A voice echoed. But it was not human. It was alien. Sela's voice, her language, her emotion, and then translation began. The light from Jake's skin decoded the memories, projected them. "This is the voice of a people forgotten. We do not seek revenge. Only memory, only truth. Let our story be told by the one we trusted." Jake's voice returned. Clear. Strong. "I am not your soldier anymore. I am your mirror. You came to collect data. I brought back a soul." Scene 4. Stand down or fall apart. The soldiers hesitated. One of them slowly lowered their weapon. Another turned off their body cam. The message was still broadcasting. Across all military channels. Across Earth. Across colonies. People were listening. People were feeling. Not numbers. Not samples. A girl. A city. A culture. A sacrifice. Scene 5. Home isn't always Earth. Later, in the quiet after the storm. Jake sat outside the old tunnel. The soldiers had left. Not all believed him, but none dared to erase the message. It was too late. Sela's light had spread. Jake looked up at the stars. He held a small crystal stone in his palm. One of Sela's memory stones, he whispered. "You're not forgotten." Then a voice behind him, a child's voice. Soft, not human, but not fully alien either. "You remembered her." Jake turned. A small figure stood in the glow. Skin pale, eyes bright. Jake didn't speak. He only smiled. because he already knew this was not the end.